So today uh, we'll be doing rate analysis of the item called plastering. Okay, so we'll try to analyze the rate of a particular plastering work. Okay, now suppose the area for the plastering we have measured. Suppose the area is 100 meter square. Over this area we need to do plastering, wall plastering. Suppose 100 meter square of surface wall, be it exterior or interior, whatever it may be, wall, brick wall. So over this brick wall of 100 meter square area we need to do plastering. Now suppose the plastering we are going to apply is 12 millimeter thick. 12 millimeter thick plastering we are going to apply over an area of 100 meter square. So what is the total quantity of plastering will be? Total volume or quantity of plastering will be the area 100 meter square multiplied by the thickness. Thickness is 12 millimeter or 0.012 meter. Ultimately 1.2 cubic meter of mortar will be required, because plastering is, as we all know, plastering is done with mortar, which is a mixture of sand, cement and water. So the area of the plastering is 100 meter square. The thickness of the plastering is 12 millimeter. So the total quantity of mortar is 1.2 meter cube. But since we are applying plastering on brick wall, so brick wall, as we have seen, unplastered brick wall is a very uneven surface. It's a very uneven surface. There are a lot of joints, brick joints, mortar joints. So to fill up the uneven surface also, we take 30% extra mortar to fill up the uneven space. But this is only in case of wall plastering. Remember, only in case of wall plastering we take 30% of extra mortar to fill up the uneven spaces. Okay, so the total quantity is 1.2 meter cube. Total quantity is 1.2 meter cube. We take 30% extra to fill up the uneven spaces. Now the total quantity will be 1.2 plus 30%, 30% of 1.2. Ultimately we get 1.56 meter cube. So now this is the total quantity of mortar that we require, but this is the total quantity of mortar after mixing cement, sand and water. That means this is the total quantity of what? This is the total quantity of wet volume. But we do rate analysis in dry volumes. Whenever we are going to buy the items from the market, we will have to buy them as dry items. So ultimately we need to find out the dry volume, isn't it? So the total quantity of dry volume will be 25% extra of the wet volume. Okay, so 1.56 plus 25% of 1.56, this will be equal to, let us see, now this becomes 1.95 meter cube. Now this is the total quantity of dry volume of mortar. Okay, since it is 1.995 as a round figure, we can take 2 meter cube also. So we can take this as 2 meter cube. 1.95 meter cube almost equivalent to 2 meter cube. It is not going to make too much of difference. We are taking the round figure. Okay, so 2 meter cube is the total quantity of dry volume. Okay, the total quantity of mortar of dry volume is 2 meter cube. Now we need to find out the quantities for the plastering, that means cement and sand. For that we need the ratio of the mixture. Suppose we are adopting a mixture of 1:6 cement mortar. We are using 1:6 mortar. That means 1 is cement and 6 is sand. Now the total dry volume is 2 meter cube. So first of all, let us find out the quantity of cement. What is the total dry volume? 2 meter cube. What is the total of the ratio? Is 6 plus 1 divided by 6 plus 1 is equal to 7. And among this 7, what is the contribution of cement? Contribution of cement is 1. So multiplied by 1. Ultimately this will come as 0.3 meter cube. Now as we all know, 1 meter cube of cement is equivalent to 30 bags of cement, isn't it? So 0.3 meter cube is equal to 9 bags of cement. So for this particular work we need 9 bags of cement. Okay, now let us calculate the quantity of sand. Quantity of sand. What is the total dry volume? 2 meter cube. What is the total ratio? 1 plus 6. 1 plus 6, 7. So what is the contribution of sand? It is 6. So multiplied by 6. How much is this one? Now this comes as 1.71 cubic meter. This is the exact quantity. Many people do it as, this was the quantity of cement. We took it as 0.3. So many people do it like this, 0.3. This was 0.3, as we have found out in case of cement. 0.3 into 6. Many people take it as 1.8. You can do it like that also. 1.71 and 1.8 doesn't make very much of a difference. So whatever you want to take, you can take. Okay. So let us assume 1.71. So this is the quantity of sand. Cement we have already found out to be 9 bags or 0.3 cubic meter. So these are, in this way we are going to find out the total quantities of plastering on walls, brick walls. Now after calculating the cement and sand quantity, here they are referring to 1.8. We can take 1.71 also, both way it will be correct. And these are the labor cost, which are fixed. So after adding the labor cost as well as the material cost, we get the grand total just like the earlier cases. And over this grand total we add 1.5% of water charges and 10.5 contractor's profit. And what was the total area that we have assumed? 100 meter square. So we need the rate per meter square because plastering is measured per meter square. So the total value is divided by 100 to get the rate. So this is the rate per square meter, rupees 155 they have got. So in this way we do the rate analysis for plastering to be applied on wall surfaces. Now this case, this rate analysis that we have just completed is for walls, okay, walls and for plastering of low thickness, because we have assumed plastering of 12 millimeter of thickness, isn't it? If the thickness is suppose more, suppose 20 millimeter thickness we are applying, 20 millimeter thickness we are suppose applying, then suppose over a area of 100 meter square walls, so the total quantity will be 100 multiplied by 0.02, ultimately 2 cubic meter. Now what we did in the earlier case, to fill up the uneven surface we took 30% extra, isn't it? But that was for 12 millimeter low thickness, but here it is 20 millimeter thick plastering cover is 20 millimeter thick. So if the thickness is more, then we are not going to take 30% extra, we are going to only take 20% extra to fill up uneven spaces. So 20% extra of 2 meter cube will be 2 meter cube plus 20% of extra, I think it will be 0.04, no? %20 of 2 meter cube. And also one more thing, and also if we are not applying the plastering on walls, if we are not applying the plastering on walls but on ceilings, then also we will take this case only 20% extra to fill up the uneven spaces. And this is the wet volume, and to convert it into dry volume we need to take 25% extra of this. So what we have learned is that if the thickness is less, like this 12 millimeter, then we take 30% extra, and if the thickness is more, or we are applying the plastering not on walls but only on ceilings, then we take only 20% extra to find out the total wet volume of the mortar. And from this we can easily find out the dry volume by increasing 25% extra. Okay, so these things you need to remember before doing the rate analysis of any kind of plastering work. And one more thing, if we are doing the cement finishing work, cement plastering finishing work on floors or dado or skirting of floors, then we take the thickness of that particular neat plastering work as 1.5 millimeter, and suppose the floor is of area 100 meter square, then the total quantity will be 100 meter square multiplied by 15 millimeter, that means 0.0015 meter, 0.15 cubic meter. But just like the earlier cases, to fill up the uneven spaces, for walls we have taken 30% extra, for larger thickness or applying plastering on ceilings we took 20% extra. But here in case of floors, dado or skirting, we don't need to take anything extra because they are already smooth surfaces. There isn't too much of a rough patches, there isn't too much of uneven surfaces, so we can convert this wet volume directly into dry volume without considering any extra mortar for uneven spaces. So we can directly convert it. This is wet, so we can directly convert it. Directly convert it into dry by multiplying 25% by adding 25% extra, 0.15 plus 25% of 0.15. This is the total dry volume. Okay. So what we have learned, in case of walls we take 30% extra of the total wet volume to find the total wet or 30% extra of the total volume to find out the total wet volume. In case of ceilings or larger thickness of plastering, we take 20% extra over the total wet volume to find out the total wet volume. And in case of flooring, we take nothing extra. In case of flooring, dado or skirting, we take nothing extra. We just find out the total wet volume. We don't take anything extra over this wet volume, just like the earlier cases. Just because in the earlier cases we took extra over this wet volume, but in this case we are not going to take anything extra over this wet volume. We are going to directly convert it to dry volume. Okay, so this is all about rate analysis of plastering.